another report. So why don't you just stay for that call,
Thank you.
and then I'll call Shirley Papanui up.
And we don't have any Part A's.
We go to clause 14.
Because the Buchan Playground has been referred to the committee.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a wise decision. There's considerable interest. I will say that I stand by our community board's decision, but I look forward to the debate around the committee table. Just on 4.1, still on the first page of the report, exposed soil at McVicker's Forest. Now, it's my understanding from speaking to people in the community that it's not just fallen trees that are being cleared from that now, there's quite a lot of timber being, 30-year-old pine trees being cleared from that area, and there is quite a problem in the area with erosion and going into Cashmere Stream and into the Heathcote River, and so anything that could be communicated to ECAN about monitoring that from council would be appreciated. The community board is doing that, but we want to protect the quality of the Heathcote from being eroded even further.
Have you got staff working with you on that?
I have not received any information, but there is a resolution of the board. So
yeah, but I just think that staff have the relationships with Environment Canterbury, and it might be worthwhile. Which ELT leadership?
With enforcement. So
and which one?
Columbus.
Enforcement and Columbus. So so perhaps if that could be drawn to her attention, we'll do that. Yeah, Thank you.
Thank you. And just on the page 80, 5.1, this waste transfer station in Sydenham. This is, as I'm sure you're aware, quite a serious issue for the Sydenham business community, and it is really undermines the integrity of the master plan. The consents have been granted. And we would hope that the businesses that have been granted the consent would reconsider. And one of the reasons that this particular waste transfer station has been able to go there is because it's special purpose railway land, and Kiwi Rail is the requiring authority on this, and without their go-ahead it never could have happened. The community board was told in 2012 that anything like this would come up again, because we did have Scully's demolition yard there, that anything like this came up again, that they would let us know, but it came in under the radar. And just as the consent for the crematorium went in November, this went in December, just before Christmas. So to ECAN, and I'd just like to ask that at least from council perspective, that anything like this, that the community boards are flagged early on in the process when consents are lodged, so that we have a time to actually have an informed decision, informed position.
But it went to ECAN, you said? Went
to ECAN, and then it went to council.
Two different
So there's the parking and signage consent for council, and then there's environmental, the noise and air pollution, dust.
But I presume that this community would have had an interest in that?
In what, sorry?
In the ECAN one.
Yes,
but I just wonder if we should raise it with commissioners when they come. Yeah, but I wonder if we should formally raise it with commissioners when they come. We have a regular session with the commissioners from ECAN now.
That would be very good.
It seems from what Paul, leading on from what Paul's saying, it just regards to limit of notifications and what we can and can't do. But I do think to give community boards a heads up of what's happening in their area, especially when we have a sensitive area like Sydenham, which has a master plan which we put together with that community, it totally undermines the integrity of this organisation to a degree of those that have worked on those master plans.
Yeah, so, I agree.
It's been bloody frustrating.
Yanni?
I think there's two issues here. One is we need to meet with Kiwi Rail and talk through actually what their community responsibilities are, because they've probably got statements of intent, they've got corporate codes of social responsibility, and actually this is like a pattern that's developed in our city over the last decade, where unsavoury activities go into Kiwi Rail land and create huge issues in local communities. So I think council should actually meet with Kiwi Rail and talk through where they are and where we are in terms of allowing these sorts of land use activities. The second point is that We do have notification things that we can do in special circumstances, and we need to make more use of those as a council, despite the changes to the RMA. I think we need to start being a lot more proactive, because this is the second time now where we've had things that have been raised with the community boards or councillors around notification expectations. But with quarrying, that these things still go through non-notified. And the opportunity with the ECAN Commission is being picked up through our submission on the pollution, the air quality review, is that we need joint consenting over land use and air discharge. And at the moment, there's two separate processes, two hearings, two things, and it doesn't actually connect the dots, so we get perverse outcomes.
And if I may, Madam Mayor, pick up on the first point that Councillor Johansson has made, for Sydenham, and you know, the railway tracks do run through quite a large chunk of Spreydon Heathcote. It would be good if, as the requiring authority, that Kiwi Rail talk to the community board before granting consent for things other than transport use. It would be good if there was a process by which we were kept in the loop.
Yep. Tim?
Were given by Kiwi Rail after the Scully's debacle, and it was
2012.
absolutely unacceptable what happened there, that Kiwi Rail would actually be in contact with us, and they had the whole idea with regards to special purpose rail land is that you protect it for rail use, etc. If you look at the east side of the railway lines from Colombo Street, the rail corridor is very, very narrow, but it works fine, and there are buildings built up to the railway line. There's even a sound studio further down, so it obviously works and it's fine. With this piece of land, not only has the railways sold the actual building on top of the land, but they've also, I think they've allowed a 25 or 30 year lease or right to use that land, which does not have those buildings, or those businesses, sorry, do not have any connection with the railway line. So there's no connectivity there. They're not in any way, shape or form involved in rail. So that land could actually be redesignated and would not affect the rail corridor at all, because it has no relationship with the railways at all. But it has huge effects on that community. And if you're talking about revitalisation of communities, millions and millions of dollars are being put in and invested into Colombo Street, and we have these things happening. It's just ridiculous.
I like the idea of meeting with them. I've just read their statement of intent while you were talking. 2015-17, apart from no dividend whatsoever, forever, and in fact ongoing investment from the government in their asset, there is no mention whatsoever of responsibility to any community at all. So I mean, that's for a government-owned entity. The fact that they actually work in the New Zealand community and affect the communities around them is pretty awful, actually.
Well, I think that I should write to the chair of Kiwi Rail and invite him or her. I don't know who the chair of Kiwi Rail is at the moment. Yeah, no, but who's the chair of Kiwi Rail? It's a board. Anyway, I'll find out who the chair is. So can someone make a note for me that I'll... All right, so that...
John Spencer.
That so we're going to have a... if you go down to that the report be received, and you could put that the mayor... That the report be received and that the mayor...
His name is John Spencer.
And that the mayor... write to the chair of Kiwi Rail with respect to concerns arising from the utilisation of railway land. Yeah, but I don't. It's not Cass Streets. It's generally and
the impact on the communities around.
And the impact on local communities. Where there is impact on local communities, because I mean the utilisation of their land is irrelevant where it's like in the middle of nowhere, but where there is impact on local communities, so take out the. And that the mayor, yeah, and then take out the. How's that? That the report be received and that the mayor write to the chair of Kiwi Rail, which is capital one word. Rising from the
This is the start.
hey?
This is the start.
Why don't we see what the result of that letter is, and then we can
Yeah.
take it from there. There's no point meeting for the sake of meeting.
Yeah. Hey? Yeah. Okay, so who would like to move that? Tim, seconded. Paul. Is there any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your
Very
support.
worthwhile. Now look, it's 10:58, so I think we should stop and have a cup of tea. I'm just aware. Oh, you know, there is a part A on the Shirley Papanui. So. And we've still got Burwood Pegasus, but there isn't a thing there. I just wonder, because Burwood Pegasus are here, I mean, Mike, do you want to do Shirley Papanui before we break for a cup of tea? Yeah, we'll come to the table and we'll do that, and then we'll break for morning tea, because there's no one here from the next two community boards, so we can break after this.